Hey guys, it's Ruben. So I'm here with Gina, and Gina has a great smile first and foremost. So if you guys look at her profile picture on LinkedIn, she has this very, very kind of awesome smile and just this cool vibe. Gina, tell me about yourself. You've got so many things going on. You've got a
So,
firm, you're a keynote speaker, you're a podcaster, and an author.
yeah, yeah. And soon to be a co-working space operator.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. I don't know if I'm easily distracted by shiny objects, which I'm sure is part of it, but I think to be in this industry, we have to be able to be following trends. And, I didn't ever intend to be doing what I'm doing, but here I am. It all started really 24 years ago, almost 25 years ago, wanting to start a training company because I was in a sales and marketing role and I was a regional sales director and I wanted to start my own business. And so kind of took the leap and was working with companies individually. So I would go out and work with their teams on their marketing campaigns and so forth. And just it was that intersection of technology coming on the scene at the right time, and I'm always curious about new tools, so I jump in right away and try things out. And then people came up and said, can you just do this for us? And what I learned is, while everybody knows they should be using tech tools, nobody really wants to spend the time. And so that kind of got me going, oh, maybe we can do this for companies, and started a digital agency where we manage the digital marketing. We have bloggers, email marketing, lead gen. We help produce podcasts and write social media content. We do customer service in the social space for a couple hotels. And so it's been a crazy ride of going through that. And then the fact that we have 12 people on our team and we really wanted to spend more time together, I started thinking we need to move into a co-working space, but I couldn't find one that I really liked. So I thought I should start my own. And so we're opening a female focused co-working space here in South Denver. Should be open January 2020. So, yeah, that's my whole life. Aside from, having four kids and running crazy all the time, my life in a nutshell.
That's awesome. Well, what I really connect to about that is that I was recently talking to someone about selling to enterprise, selling to medium to larger size businesses. And they had said something that was kind of intriguing to me. They said, they don't care about the technology. They don't care about I's and O's and ones and zeros and stuff. They care about results. They care
Yeah,
about growth. They care about revenue, even not necessarily even profit, but top line revenue, because
right.
that's kind of the growth trajectory. And of course, with technology, especially, a lot of those numbers on the back end sort of ultimately get kind of sorted out and figured out. So I really like your model of an all-in-one agency that kind of helps with a lot of those really important things, because what you, I think, just did was touched upon our go-to market strategy, which is all rooted in original content.
Right.
I love that you have that, because the last thing I think that a business wants to do is to have four different vendors to contract all of these individual things out. Why not go to one vendor like yourself that has the vision and actually the team to execute?
Yeah. And the reality, a lot of times in the beginning, we were helping companies understand, put together a strategy, understand the pieces they needed, and then work with their teams. But then a couple months would go by and I would look and they started off doing it and then it just, flatlined. And the reality is it's so time consuming. And, anything. I mean, look, how long have we been talking about the need to do more video? And everybody knows it and everybody says they're going to do it. But the reality is they don't do it. And it's the implementation that gets lost, even though companies know the value. And I feel like live video and sending short videos out to people is such a great tool to connect, but people still aren't doing it. And I beat my head against the wall going, I don't get it with our clients. What's in your way? What's in your way? And the need for perfection is a lot of it. They feel like it has to be hard, it has to be high tech, there has to be a lot of difficult things in order for it to be worth sending out. And so they don't do it.
Why do you
So,
think that is? What do you think the block is?
I mean, I think a lot of it is ego. Number
Yeah.
one, nobody wants to be on camera. Number two, I feel like I have some clients that are so good on camera and they get out and they'll speak to audiences, but they fear making a mistake on camera. And so they would rather pre-record, which I love all the videos you guys send out because I love all the blooper parts. Those are my favorite parts. And I think that's what I try to get across is it's the bloopers in life that make people connect to you because they say, wow, you're just like me. And I feel like in social media and in marketing in general, general is the more we can build that likability factor, the more people are drawn to your brand. And I think when we're looking at putting together our strategies with most of our clients, we're saying, yeah, you're just like everybody else. It's like, what makes you really different is you're the personality of the brand. And even a bigger brand, how do you get the personality to shine? And that's usually through the humanness of the brand. Let me meet the people there, to quit being perfect at things. Talk to us. And there's a lot of that. And in social media, it's the same thing of, you can put out tons of just content that's not going to connect, or you can try to get real with people and connect, which is why I wrote that book, Social Media Doesn't Work, because everybody says, if we could just have more stuff being sent out, more followers, we need more followers, but it doesn't work unless you do. And the reality is it's the work that people don't want to do. So I think there's the ego and there's the time. People don't have the time.
I completely connect to that. I went through this process where I realized a couple of things. Number one was that all of the things that I was doing internally, creating decks, having kind of closed calls, those meet and greets, the coffee, all those could get converted. I'd say the vast majority of those could get converted into content opportunities. Kind of like this conversation. We could have had hey, let's meet for coffee. This is the first time that you and I are talking. We have never spoken before. And the power of video, the power of a podcast connects to people like this where we can share these original thoughts. It's tremendous to me,
It is. And it's a missed opportunity by most brands. I mean, again, I say we've been preaching this same message and it gets exhausting being the evangelist all the time. But
yeah.
I feel like for 12 years now, I've been preaching technology to people that I'm going, you know what, I'm done preaching it. You either get it or you don't. And how do you not look and see the brands that are doing things to connect with people through video calls, through live video streaming, through podcasting? Like, these are things that are proven to help people connect better with a brand and bring the human factor into your marketing, but people still don't do it.
John Lennon once said, a very famous quote, "Life is what happens to you when you're busy making other plans." I love that quote. I think in terms of trust building and humanizing overall people, I think that trust gets built when you're planning other stuff. When I'm planning to have some perfect production, or when I'm planning to be able to read from a script or have a perfect webinar, it's the in-between moments and the bloopers and the mess ups and the realizations, the pontifications that we have during those moments that we either have internally or we share in our expositional about it. And in doing so, that's actually what makes us sort of relatable, So I
Right.
love the fact that you mentioned that you like our bloopers.
I think those are the best parts. Those are the best parts. And it's true, even when you see, I mean, I spent 15 years as a keynote speaker, going out and speaking at conferences, and I saw the same thing. The speakers who were perfect. It's a sickness as a human in our society, because when somebody is perfect on stage, I almost want to see them fall. I want to see them mess up. I want to see them do something wrong so I can go, okay, finally, they're like me. So when I'm up there speaking, I'm always willing to call out my own foibles and willing to say, okay, I just was about to say something brilliant and I completely lost my train of thought. And then I'll usually make a joke about it, going, who in the room knows what I was going to say next? Because everybody wants to see that you're just like them. And I think the more we can bring that to an audience, whether it's in person or whether that's via video, somehow we have to get that out to our audiences. And I think there are some that are afraid to ever let people know that they're not perfect.
Speaking is definitely also a newish thing for me within the last, I'd say, 2 years. And that is a revelation that I had for myself, that if I don't speak and sort of lean into the imperfections and the screw ups and, not sleeping the night before, being on a red eye flight, if I don't speak to those things, then they kind of quietly haunt me on the inside. And I can't be my best self. But if I diffuse them and sort of put them out there, then all of a sudden what happens is, to your point, I become a human and I become relatable and, fallible. And I think that's what really connects and I think builds the trust. So,
and I think that's the likability factor. When I always say, years ago, I used to look at that and say, what makes someone likable? Is it charm? Is it, what is it about the personality? There's a lot of things built into it, like sense of humor, and a sense of humor is being able to laugh at yourself and being able to say, okay, I dropped that. Or I've seen people make a mistake and get so flustered by it.
Mhm.
And you can almost see them start to sweat because they're thinking, oh my gosh, I hope nobody saw that. Well, of course everybody
With Dubb, you can easily send your business videos from Gmail, LinkedIn, CRMs, and so many more places, but you don't have to take my word for it.
Absolutely perfect.
Screen records, landing pages that can really help businesses to grow.